if you want to be a successful pharmaceutical company or medtech company in the future, you're going to have to be quite good at sustainability, because the procurement departments from your buyers are going to demand it. Your patients are going to demand it. So when you say you want to be patient-centric, that also includes sustainability. Regulation is going to demand it. And all your talent are also going to demand it. Hello and welcome to the Sustainable Healthcare Podcast. This is Joachim from Green Innovation Group, back with another solo episode. And today we are running through a checklist of, are you ready for 2023 to reach your sustainability goals? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. We'll find out in this episode. If you like what you're hearing on this episode, know that you can also follow me and Frederik van Deurs on LinkedIn and read our stuff on greeninnovationgroup.com as well. Enjoy the episode. Today, I'm going to ask a very simple question. Are you ready for 2023 in terms of sustainable healthcare? That is, if you're listening to this episode, there's a high likelihood that you are working somewhere in healthcare. If you're working in a large company, probably you will have already been asked to give your inputs for the budget for the next year. And I think 2023 is going to be super exciting because the stakes are higher than ever. Both, of course, in that, unfortunately, more or less all the data that we see coming shows that there is so much that still needs to be done in terms of reducing carbon footprint, fighting biodiversity and freshwater crisis and so on. But also that we're seeing in the healthcare industry that a lot of the key drivers for this change are being ramped up. So procurement departments are moving forward with sustainability strategies in formulating clearer criteria, in hiring more dedicated people. That was a big thing in 2022. Some procurement departments ramping up from 1 or 0 FTEs that work with green procurement to maybe 8 or 10 even. So that's a key driver with the procurement that's only going to move forward. Then we also have a lot of new regulation coming into place, like the Nordic Packaging Initiative and a lot of the EU regulations. And of course, we are also seeing some of the cross-industry commitments take place, like the Sustainable Manufacturing Initiative. So I think it's hopefully clear that a lot more needs to happen in this area. And maybe you're super ready, maybe you're not. A good way to find out would be first, do you have a clear strategy and materiality assessment? Or have you at least revisited the one that you have, so that when you are looking into 2023, is it clear for you what are the top tasks that you need to do that will move your team or division forward on sustainability? What is critical for you and what is material for you? If you don't know that, that's probably a very good starting point. For a lot of teams and business divisions or care units, this means that there's a need to translate the overall corporate or organizational strategy into what does this mean for me in procurement, in production, in commercial, in my tendering team. Yes, we have an overall corporate sustainability strategy that says that we have to be net zero in 2030 or 2050. But what does that mean for me? What is the key must-win battles for me? And what is the business case and the healthcare case for my particular unit? How does the sustainability strategy translate into the other business criteria that I'm trying to see. So do you have a clear answer for that for 2023? If not, now is definitely the place to start. If you are clear on your priorities and have a clear strategy and why, then have you put in a roadmap in place of what needs to happen? This is especially important as more than ever what needs to happen is that action needs to be taken. We need to take action. And one of the key barriers that I see out there in terms of taking action is that a lot of places in pharma and medtech and in the healthcare systems, sustainability action is still being driven by heroes, individuals, and is still bits and pieces here and there, and not a coherent strategy based on a sound analysis that says, all right, this needs to happen because that's the most important thing, and if we unlock this, then we create the right value. So if that roadmap is not clear, and it's clear who does what and why, and who are the owners, and who is responsible, then and it's not clear what you need to do next. You don't have a model or a roadmap that shows you what are the clear actions I need to take to get to the next level. Then that confuses and hinders barriers a lot, because you want to do something, but what do you need to do? And then if you first need to translate that and formulate that, a lot of 2023 will be gone. And the tricky thing about time is that we can't really get it back. So we are not that far from 2030. And that means that even for and for some companies, it's also that they have very explicit 2025 goals. So in a lot of the corporate strategies, for instance, yes, the final net zero goal might be in 2040 or in 2050, but most will have pretty severe and serious targets for not full reduction, then a 50% or an 80% reduction that needs to be hit maybe in 25, which is getting really close. So make sure that there's a clear path of action, and that whoever in your team or division is responsible, know that they are, and that is clearly defined. Then if someone is responsible, of course it's important that they have the mandate and the resources that they need. So do you have the resources that you need? Have you secured the budget necessary from leadership to secure your goals? Maybe, maybe not. Many places out there, when push comes to shove, sustainability is still seen as kind of a nice to have, not a need to have. So that also means that it is being under budgeted in many places, and that's a shame, and it makes the action harder. And the key to overcome that is often to go and make the business cases that I spoke about in the strategy part. But if you don't have the budget you need for 2023, now's definitely the time. Even if you have sent in your input for the corporate budgeting in the fiscal year, try and revisit and push back. And that's, of course, both for internal and external things. Most clients that we work with are ramping up, hiring people in sustainability all across the value chain. Do you have the hires that you need? Do you have the team that you need to achieve your 2023 roles? If you don't have the full team, have you created clear roles and made sure that you have a plan for what persons you need, what competencies do you need to have? If not, now's also a very good time to start on that. And then there's the mandate. If you have your strategy, you have a good roadmap, you have secured the resources that you need, do you also have the mandate and the buy-in from leadership? And this is a lot easier said than done. Paradoxically, we see more action from bottom up than top down, to be honest, with our large corporate clients. So there's often a lack of ownership from top leadership at a business division level or even executive leadership. And of course, if that is not there, you are not going to fix that by the 1st of January 2023. But it's definitely time to get started. Of course, both to secure resources, but also to secure the support and the backing that you will need for full sustainability transformation. A lot of what we're seeing out there, that a key process is we need to move from a mindset where there's a sustainability department and that they do the sustainability stuff, and then there's the rest of the company. Now we are moving into a place where sustainability needs to be integrated into the whole operating model, into all processes, in the way of doing business out in the business unit, whether you're in clinical studies or you are in logistics or production or commercial. It's going to be integrated everywhere. And that also means that there's a lot of people, tens of thousands of people in the organizations that we are working with, who needs to work in a slightly new way, who needs to get new competencies, who needs to figure out in my place what does sustainability mean and how do we create value in my team and my division. And that's really hard to do, to get that time and to make those changes if there is not the support from the leadership. So if you don't have that support, if you don't have that mandate yet, really start working on that now as well. Convincing your leaders that not only is it the right thing to do, but also if they want to achieve their goals and the roles that they have, and thereby also their own career goals. If you want to be a successful pharmaceutical company or medtech company in the future, you're going to have to be quite good at sustainability, because the procurement departments from your buyers are going to demand it. Your patients are going to demand it. So when you say you want to be patient-centric, that also includes sustainability. Regulation is going to demand it. And all your talent are also going to demand it. And it's not just the talent for the sustainability teams. Good luck trying to hire engineers and data scientists and other good people if you're not a sustainable company. So hopefully that gave a bit of a checklist to say, are you ready for 2023? If not, what do you need to get done? If you're struggling with any of these things, feel free to reach out to me. Can find my information on greeninnovationgroup.com or hit me up on LinkedIn. And then just sincerely thank you for all the good work that has been done in 2022 on sustainability out in the healthcare industry. It has definitely been the year that had moved the most this far. And I think we got a good chance of beating it in 2023. So thank you so much for all the good work that is being done out there. This is really, really what we need. And you might feel alone, a little bit at least, in working with sustainability in the healthcare industry, because it's still, it is in its infancy, it's not mature. But you are not alone, both because a lot of new people are being hired and there's a man or woman like you sitting somewhere else, probably in your same organization, but also in parallel organizations. And it does really matter. We can see that the changes are happening in this industry, so that's amazing. So thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, as always, please share it with a friend or a colleague. I really appreciate you listening out there. This was Joachim from Green Innovation Group on the Sustainable Healthcare Podcast. Have an amazing day.